This is OneWrestling.com, 24/7 wrestling news.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Ray's Wrestling Show. I am the Mark of the Masses, the man with a plan. Big Ray here to stay to talk some TNA today, TNA 3/28/2013. Ladies and gentlemen, last week was and I made this statement before. I thought it was a really, really excellent show. I'm going to reiterate and say that I feel that over the last couple of weeks, I think TNA has been putting forth a better in-ring wrestling product than the WWE over the last couple of weeks. With this past week's Raw, no exception. I thought TNA put together a really, really good show this week. They came live from the campus of Arkansas State University, and the fans were crazy, ladies and gentlemen. It was nuts. It was nuts. The fans seemed really hot for the show. They seemed really excited for the show. The place was packed, so you can't say TNA doesn't have any fans. I thought it was really, really excellent. We basically start off where Jeff Hardy comes to the ring, and Jeff Hardy basically, he puts himself over as the #1 contender for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Now, Jeff Hardy basically says it's open fight night, and he's about to call somebody out. Now, before this actually happens, Bully Ray comes into the ring, and he interrupts Jeff Hardy's promo, and he basically says that he's tired of Jeff Hardy basically talking. He's tired of Jeff Hardy being in TNA wrestling, and all the aces and eights basically had surrounded the ring. Now, when Bully Ray is actually speaking, Mr. Anderson actually asks for the mic. He takes the mic from Bully Ray, and he says that Jeff Hardy, he cuts what they call in wrestling a shoot promo. He basically he's not acting, he's telling the truth, and he basically states that Jeff Hardy has been given chance after chance after chance, and as long as he keeps selling merchandise, guess what? He's going to keep getting chances. Well, Jeff Hardy gets sick and tired of hearing Mr. Anderson's mouth, and what he does is he attacks Mr. Anderson. Well, that leads him to getting attacked by the whole Aces and Eights crew, and they basically all come into the ring and start beating the living crap out of him. But while that's basically happening, we have the Aces and Eights, they're attacking him. Samoa Joe, Magnus, Eric Young, Kurt Angle, they come in and they make the save on Jeff Hardy. And Jeff Hardy basically calls out Mr. Anderson for the main event match tonight. So the main event is already set. It's going to be Jeff Hardy versus Mr. Anderson of the Aces and Eights. Really, really cool. Now, last week, Bad Influence, again, my favorite tag team, I think the best tag team in wrestling today, they got involved in a tag team match between Hernandez and Chavo and the World Tag Team Champions, Austin Aries and Bobby Roode. Long story short, Roode and Aries ended up winning the match. So, this week, being open fight night, I don't know if I mentioned that, but it was open fight night. Chavo and Hernandez actually called out Bad Influence, and they spoke to Hulk Hogan early in the evening, and they were able to get a match where if they won the match, if they called out Bad Influence obviously accepted, they will become the #1 contenders, or whoever won the match will become the #1 contenders. Chavo Hernandez come to the ring, they call him out, and Bad Influence accept. So it was a really, really great, I love these guys, a really great tag team. I actually started laughing because the matches they put together are really, really good. Really, really great double team action, which is what tag team wrestling is really all about. If you go back into the 80s and even the early 90s, that's when you had some of the best tag teams, in my opinion. And you can go back into the maybe the late 70s, but these guys put together one hell of a match. And basically, towards the end of the match, we have Daniels and Chavo. They're in the ring. Hernandez is outside the ring with Kaz. Hernandez pounces Kaz off the ramp onto the floor, onto the ringside floor, and then he basically slingshots himself into the ring with a shoulder block, knocking Daniels down. Chavo goes up to the top, hits the frog splash, 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Bad Influence are knocked out of the contendership. Or are they? Well, I think if TNA plays it smart, I would love to see a 3-way tag team championship match down the line. Bad Influence is just too good to keep them out of the tag team contendership. So hopefully that happens. But I would like to know what you guys think regarding my thoughts on the tag team, on the tag teams in TNA wrestling, tag teams in general. Who do you guys, what are some of your guys' favorite tag teams of all times? I think I've asked you that before. Again, I think Daniels and Kaz. Can you name me 3 tag teams that you think are better right now than Kaz and Daniels? So we move on, and we have Taryn Terrell. Taryn Terrell's in the ring, and she's jibber-jabbering about how Gail Kim got under her skin, so on and so forth, and she's upset because Gail Kim basically made her lose her job as a referee, and Gail Kim takes exception. She comes down to the ring, and Gail Kim basically says, how could you call me out? I'm the greatest woman wrestler of all time, which is bullcrap. I mean, we all know that. I mean, she's a phenomenal woman wrestler. But again, I think the fabulous Moolah would have something to say about that. Wendy Richter, even freaking Lalani Kai back in the day. We had some really great women wrestlers. And you can even look back at Trish Stratus. And I honestly, and now this is my opinion, I think one of the best women wrestlers in the ring, women wrestlers, and she actually proved herself to have a hell of a lot of charisma when she turned heel, was Lita. I think Lita was one of the best women wrestlers of all time. But again, that's just my opinion. I would like to know what you guys think. But basically, Gail Kim says that, I don't have to accept your challenge. And basically, I'm not the only one that you've rubbed the wrong way. You've rubbed a couple of other people the wrong way. Tara comes down to the ring, and they both basically, as Tara comes down to the ring, she kind of distracts Taryn Terrell. Gail Kim comes from behind, she attacks, and then both girls basically jump on her, and Velvet Sky comes in, and she makes the save. So I'm seeing maybe next week a tag team match between Sky, Velvet Sky, Taryn Terrell, and Kim and Tara. It should be pretty good, actually. I think I think 2 out of the 4 girls are really good wrestlers. You let me know which ones you think I'm talking about. We move on. Now, next week is Gut Check, and I was actually kind of excited. Now, next week we're gonna have this gentleman by the name of Magno, who's apparently been wrestling for 13 years. I know back in the day he was part of when they were having the World X Cup. The X Division, it was like tag teams from all over the world. This Magno was part of Team Mexico, if I'm correct. Let me know if I'm wrong. Now, he's going to be fighting a guy that I've actually been following for a long time. I did take down some notes. He's the former ACW, IWA, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, PWG, NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Scrap Iron, Adam Pearce. He's been wrestling for 17 years. This guy is actually really good. He has a hell of a lot of charisma, and I think he'll win this Gut Check. And if TNA plays their cards right, I think Adam Pearce will be part of the roster. If you guys don't know who Adam Pearce is, go on YouTube. Check out NWA's website. I think Adam Pearce will be a nice addition to TNA Wrestling, and I think he'll do a great job. So, again, my opinion, I think next week's going to be really interesting. Now, we go backstage, and Sting is trying to get the Hulk Hogan. He's been trying to get the Hulk Hogan for weeks now, and he gets stopped by security, and he decides to go straight to the ring. And he goes to the ring, and his music hits, and Hulk Hogan is speaking to Jeff Hardy in the back, and Hulk Hogan hears the music playing, and he goes, he's not supposed to be here, brother. So Hulk Hogan actually, I guess, makes his way to the ring. We find out later. So Sting basically states how he's been trying to talk to Hulk Hogan, like I just said, and no luck. And Sting basically says, "It's open fight night. I'm calling you out, Hulk Hogan." So he calls Hulk Hogan out to the ring, and Sting, in Hulk Hogan's face, says, "No, I've tried to apologize 1,000 times, but you don't want to hear me." Basically, this is the 3rd time I'm trying to apologize. And if you don't accept my apology, then things are going to go nuclear. Basically, Sting is about to blow stuff up. And Hulk Hogan basically blames everything on Sting, and Sting makes a really good point. You know, he basically says, you know, Hulk Hogan, you got to take some. You got to take some accountability. You know, you're the one that makes the final decisions. If you thought getting Bully Ray on our side was wrong, then you should have did something about it. You could have put the kibosh on the whole Bully Ray thing. But Hulk Hogan actually taking ownership to it, saying that you know what, I made a mistake. You get the hell out of my ring. Throwing Sting out of the ring, asking Sting to leave. And Sting says, you know what? You want me to leave? Then make me. Make me leave. Well, security comes into the ring. They slowly escort Sting out of the ring. Hulk Hogan started ripping off his shirt, brother. He was ready to fight, dude. But Sting is escorted outside of the ring. And this is looking to be really interesting because I think what happened tonight is going to lead to something big next week. I think Sting is going to make a huge impact next week on Impact. Well, now we move on, and again, really good show, really well put. I think the show was put together really well. We have Cowboy James Storm, and he comes to the ring, and he basically, you know, he cuts a promo on how last week he tried speaking to AJ, but AJ just walked out. So what he did, open fight night. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? He calls out A.J.Styles. A.J. Styles doesn't come to the ring, but A.J. Styles is actually up in, not the rafters, but he's up in about section 5. He's out in the crowd and just standing there wearing his hoodie, looking tough, looking rugged, looking like serious A.J. Styles. But he's not even responding. And Cowboy James Storm says, you know, we could do it 2 ways. You know, with this hand, you know, we could put a beer in this hand, and we can, you know, drink a couple of beers, which always sounds good to me. We'll drink a couple of beers and we can talk about it. Or with this hand, I can close it, I punch you in the face basically, and we can fight. While this is all going on, the Aces and Eights come in and attack James Storm, and they start beating the living crap out of James Storm. AJ Styles does nothing. Eric Young comes into the ring and they start, you know, he tries to fight, but too many guys. AJ Styles does nothing. Interesting. Kurt Angle finally comes in and evens the odds, and then he challenges the Aces and Eights to a tag team or a 6-man tag team match. So we got Kurt Angle, EY, Eric Young, James Storm against DOC Briscoe and Bischoff, which ended up being a really good match. Again, a really, really good match. Go back and watch it if you guys haven't had a chance to see this show. Really good match. Basically, towards the end of the match, Kurt Angle is cleaning house. He is literally cleaning house. He is beating the living daylights. He's suplexing. He's slamming. I mean, he is just beating the crap out of everybody. Now, while this is happening, the vice president, as we know him as, anyway, remember D'Lo Brown used to do that? Well, D'Lo Brown comes into the ring and he basically distracts Kurt Angle. Now, while this is going on, the referee doesn't notice, but Bischoff's son is actually putting the chain around his hand. And he swings and misses. Kurt Angle's able to put Bischoff in the ankle lock. Now, while this is going on, we have Briscoe who sneaks up behind, rolls up Kurt Angle, grabs his trunks, pulls him real nice and tight. 1, 2, 3, gets the dirty pin on Kurt Angle. So the Aces and Eights win an important match. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but the Aces and Eights are starting to win a lot of matches, starting to look strong, starting to build on ever since Bully Ray was revealed as the president of the Aces and Eights. I think now they're starting to build themselves as a heel faction. You have these young guys winning the match. I think it's really good to help build their characters. Again, you know, not a big fan of Briscoe behind the mic. Not a big fan of Bischoff in the ring. Maybe if Briscoe could cut a promo like Bischoff, he'd be better, and so on and so forth. But again, that's my opinion. But again, young talent, they're learning on the job. I think Aces and Eights are starting to build into what they should have been, a dominant heel faction. So basically backstage, we move on. We have Bully Ray and Devon. They're backstage and they're trying to get Mr. Anderson all riled up for his main event match. Mr. Anderson basically loses it, and he is ready for tonight's main event. But we're going to quickly move on. last week we had a great X Division match. No X Division match this week, and I always tell you guys that if you tweet me during the week, if you tweet me during the show, I'll pick one or two of your tweets, and I will display your Twitter name down here, and I'll give you guys a plug. And I actually had I'm gonna grab my laptop, and I had this young man. His name is El Rodriguez. El Rodriguez, 1984. Give him a follow, ladies and gentlemen. El Rodriguez, 1984. He sends me 2 interesting tweets, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you the question, and I would like to hear you guys. Leave a comment below here at onewrestling.com or YouTube/OneWrestling video. Mr. El Rodriguez, 1984, he tweets me at Big Ray's Show. What is your thoughts on the X Division's new rules? I feel that it used to be a stepping stone for the TNA, for the hashtag TNA title. Then he goes on and says, also, what are your thoughts on it being triple threat rules? Well, I could sit here for a few minutes and actually answer that. The way I feel is I honestly think that the triple threat rules do add something different to the X Division. I think the X Division is phenomenal. I'm glad that they brought it down to weight divisions. I know it's now, they're basically cruiserweights, which the X Division has always kind of been, but when Samoa Joe won the championship, it kind of took away from that. But it's going to be really interesting, and next week we're going to have Sanjay Dutt back in the ring. He's going to be fighting Mason Andrews, and he's going to be fighting the master of what I think is one of the baddest freaking finishing moves of all time, the Canadian Destroyer, the flipping pile driver, Petey Williams, who is fantastic in the ring. If you guys don't know who Petey Williams is, go YouTube the Canadian Destroyer, Petey Williams. One of the greatest finishing moves I've ever seen. Again, thank you, El Rodriguez 1984. Thank you for sending me tweets, guys. Please send me a tweet here at Big Ray's Show. You can follow me at Big Ray's Show, OneWrestling.com. But anyway, we'll move on to the main event of the evening. We have Mr. Anderson. I haven't done that in a long time. Versus Jeff Hardy. And, dude, this match, I don't remember them announcing it being a freaking hardcore match, but it was nuts. These guys went at each other. These guys really beat the living hell out of each other. I mean, there were tables, ladders, freaking chairs, hammers. It went nuts. And towards the end of the match, we have Jeff Hardy, who actually lays Mr. Anderson on one of the tables. He sets up a ladder in the ring, and he climbs to the top, and I swear, I thought he was going to hit him with the Swanton Bomb. Again, really, really hardcore match. The referee let go of a lot. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I was getting a sandwich or something. I don't remember them saying it was going to be a hardcore match or a TLC match or whatever they call it in TNA, but he sets him up for that. While that's happening, Bully Ray comes into the ring, makes a save, pulls Mr. Anderson off the table, throws the table over and pulls him outside of the ring and saves his backside, basically. Now, Jeff Hardy basically says, you know what? He's yelling on the mic, you know what? In Corpus Christi, it's going to be tables, ladders, chairs, full metal mayhem. Full metal mayhem. I have a feeling this is going to be a really excellent main event for the next TNA pay-per-view, Bully Ray versus Jeff Hardy. My opinion, I think Bully Ray continues to go over as TNA World Heavyweight Champion. I can't see Jeff Hardy winning it right away, but again, it's my opinion. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can follow us here every single week at onewrestling.com, YouTube /OneWrestling video. Please follow me on Twitter at Big Ray Show. Ladies and gentlemen, I say this every single week. I would do this for a living, but if I can, I would do it anyway. Why? Because I love talking wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, in about a week from this Saturday, I will be at WrestleCon. Hopefully, if everything works out with the legend, Bill Apter, we'll be at WrestleCon representing OneWrestling.com. It should be really exciting. Please, guys, come by, say hello to me and Bill Apter. We'll be glad to talk to you guys. We love talking wrestling. Bill Apter loves wrestling. And you can check me here. You can check me out every week here. Hopefully this Monday, me and Bill will be doing a face-to-face. If not, I'll be covering Raw. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, I hope to see you soon. I hope to see you next week. And thanks for watching. For OneWrestling.com, this is Big Ray. Peace.